Frogcaster and the Terrible Tornado by Janice Dean, the Weather Machine, illustrated by Russ Cox. Freddy the Frogcaster was back at the Frog News Network, keeping an eye on the sky and rehearsing his weather reporting in front of the camera. Fellow Frogcasters Sally Croker and Polly Woggins encouraged Freddy to practice. So every weekend, he would head to the TV station, stand up straight, clear his throat, and deliver the weather on camera. Spring was an exciting time to watch the sky. The changing seasons can bring all sorts of weather. When you have cold air clashing with the warmth of the daytime sun, the atmosphere can stir up some big thunderstorms with hail, damaging winds, and even tornadoes. As Freddy looked at his weather charts and the forecasting tools like radar and satellite imagery, he realized that Lily Pad was in for some pretty dangerous weather. "Sally," Freddy said, "take a look at this cold front that's coming our way. Today and tomorrow are going to be sunny and warm, but once that cold air pushes in, we could have some big thunderstorms. It looks like we're going to get lots of rain, strong winds, maybe hail, and possibly tornadoes," Polly exclaimed. "Maybe that storm chaser Tad Polar will come to Lily Pad." "You've heard of him, right, Freddy?" Oh yes, Freddy had heard of Tad Polar, the storm chasing expert. If there was a tornado nearby, Tad Polar was on the scene, taking pictures and reporting from the touchdown area. That night, Sally started her Frogcast with a Frog News alert. "Good evening, everyone. I'm Sally Croker from the Frog News Weather Center. Our team has been studying the weather maps, and it looks like we could have some severe storms headed our way. Everyone should be prepared for the risk of strong thunderstorms. Some could bring lightning, heavy rain, hailstones, strong winds, and even tornadoes. Please know where to go if there's a tornado watch or warning in your area." Just then, a large armored vehicle pulled up to the Frog News Network. Freddy looked out the window and saw the famous Tad Polar getting out of his storm truck. Everyone hopped out to greet Tad. "I hear there's a chance of twisters in this area," Tad announced. "Thought I'd swing by and have a look. Hey, I've got room for one more. Anyone want to come?" "I'll come," Freddy exclaimed. "Just don't forget your emergency kit." Freddy was excited to go storm chasing, but was he really ready for a tornado? Freddy hurried home to ask his parents for permission to go. They were busy preparing for the storm. Their emergency kit was stocked and their weather radio had new batteries so they could listen to the latest storm reports. "Mom, Dad, may I go storm chasing with Tad Polar tomorrow to see if we can spot tornadoes?" Freddy asked. "That sounds scary," his mother replied. "You of all frogs should know you need to be inside in a safe place if there's a twister nearby." "Tad is very careful when it comes to dangerous weather, Mom." Freddy's parents weren't sure this was a good idea, but he convinced them he would be safe. Freddy met Tad in front of the TV station. "Look, Freddy, the National Weather Service has put a tornado watch out for our area, which means weather conditions are ripe for twisters." They drove around watching the radar and the dark skies through their windshield. The wind and rain began to pick up. "Look over there," Tad shouted. "That's a cumulonimbus cloud, and there's a funnel touching the ground. Holy croaks, folks, that's a tornado." "Tad, we need to call the station and give them a report now," said Freddy. Freddy called and reported, "Sally, we've got a tornado on the ground. It's in front of us and we are keeping our distance. Every frog in Lily Pad needs to take shelter right now. Go to the safest place in your home. That means your basement if you have one. If not, go to an interior room like a closet or bathroom and stay away from the windows. Do not go outside." Hunkered down inside the Tadmobile, they could hear emergency sirens going off, warning Lily Pad of the approaching tornado. Freddy was nervous they were a little too close to this terrible tornado. The storm-chasing truck shook as the wind howled and the rain pounded. Hail started falling. It sounded like rocks were hitting the roof. And then they heard a roar that sounded like a freight train. Within a few minutes, the sirens stopped. The wind, hail, and rain calmed. The sky was clearing up, and it seemed the worst of it was over. They drove a little farther and saw a lot of damage. The Tadmobile had been battered by falling tree branches and hailstones the size of golf balls. Holy croaks, folks, that was a close encounter with the tornado, Tad said. Look at the picture I took. That there is a wedge tornado. Polly and Sally came running out. You okay, Freddy? You look a little greener than usual, said Polly. The police and fire frogs arrived, and the mayor stepped out of the fire truck. You okay, Freddy? He asked. Thank you for warning us on the news. When we heard your report, Miss Mayor and I rushed down to our basement, where we were safe. Weather can be very scary, Freddy, the mayor said, but if everyone is prepared and knows what to do and where to go, it can save a frog's life. Thank you for keeping us safe, and Tadpolar, it's an honor to meet you. You are one great storm chaser. Freddy called his parents to make sure they were okay. Thank goodness they were. But unfortunately, Freddy's backyard weather station had been damaged by the storm. The National Weather Service was out surveying the damage and determined an EF1 tornado had blown through with estimated winds of 100 miles per hour. It was bad, but it could have been so much worse. Freddy, you can storm chase with me anytime, Tad said. Thank you, Freddy said, but I think I'll stick to reporting the weather from inside the Frog News Network. I'll leave the storm chasing to you. Tad gave him a wink. Let me know if you change your mind. As Freddy hopped home, he gazed up at the beautiful sky. He couldn't wait to jump into bed and get some much-needed rest. Tomorrow he would start rebuilding his weather station with his dad so that they would be prepared for the next storm, because our friend Freddy is always weather ready.